the goal for us is really to continue to improve. And I thought what our young ladies did a nice job of from last Sunday and to the next two games, we didn't come out of the locker room, even though we had an opportunity to, I think, really kind of keep doing good things, and we gave up good opportunities. Now, that was last week Sunday. This week, I thought in the third quarter we came out and we were pretty solid defensively for the most part, and also stood at a higher level that we need to attack. We need to continue to attack the rim, and then we didn't have to take early threes. We could continue to attack, and then if we got those, we were going to probably get a good shot later on in the shot clock if we needed to take that. So I thought we learned. I thought at Penn State, we didn't do a very good job of defending the arc especially in the second quarter, and there was a run. And then in the third quarter and fourth quarter, we did a much better job of adjusting and understanding that we could early help, but we had to early recover. We weren't recovering early enough and getting back. And I thought we did a better job because in this game, because Purdue is a team that really can attack you, and you have to cut off and you have to lend some assistance to cut off, but you got to get back. And I do think there were times Purdue missed some shots that we didn't do as good of a job getting. You're not going to take every shot away. You can't do that. It's not possible. But you want to try to limit good opportunities. And so I think for us, the focus is really on, okay, what do we learn from this game? We go back and we watch this game. What are we going to learn from this game that is going to help get us ready for the next game, whether that's in handling the ball, whether that's in how we attack, whether that's in how we handle ball screen defense. What is it specifically that we can continue working on so that we can keep getting better?
Do you talk to the girls about the tournament, or is that you try to avoid it?
That was something early on in the summer, in the postseason in the summer, that they set as a goal. Now that's something that's out there. Now it's a matter of, what's our ball screen coverage? Did we do a good job getting through it? Did we not do a good job getting through it? How did they get 12 offensive rebounds? We've been a team that's been better at keeping teams away from getting offensive second chance opportunities. In our last two games, we've given up some of those opportunities. What do we have to do better? So we don't talk about it now. We did a long time ago.
Mara had a defensive play very early where she jumped a pick and roll up at the top of the key. Was that a good sign for you that one of your scorers was really that committed early on in the defense?
Well, I thought they were really pretty locked in after the first 2-3 minutes of shoot around today. And I thought their energy in that is something that's really important. You talk about the fun that they're having playing together and the joy. And I believe this as a coach. I believe that you can play your tail off and you can have an awful lot of fun doing it. And some coaches want their kids to be really serious. I think it's great if our young ladies can be relaxed and have joy and play that way, but play really, really hard. And I thought that play kind of defined that. I thought she was playing really, really hard, and made a really good play, but also having a lot of fun doing that. And they celebrate each other's successes when they do that, and that's a lot of fun to see.
I remember at the beginning of the season you mentioned that you wanted the defense to be solid, I think was the word that you said. I mean, they're one of the best defenses in the country. Like, did you kind of have an inkling that this was something the team could get to, or?
First of all, and I think Sophie mentioned this, the first thing in order to be a really solid defensive team that you have to have is a defensive mindset. You've got to want to be really good defensively, because it's not necessarily as much fun as scoring points. It's not. And this team has started to understand that has to be, they want it to be their identity, I think. Or maybe they tell me that, I'm not sure. But they're playing as if they want that to be their identity. And they seem to really have fun helping each other and scrambling and making plays and covering up. And, you don't want to be in scramble situations very often, but when you have to be, boy, you better be willing to help each other. And so I thought that was the end of I think it was the end of the second quarter when they were going into a high ball screen, and we decided to go double it at that point in time. But now you put yourself where you're really extended and you really got to help each other. And I thought that was one of the fun possessions. So I think first of all, we have to be, and the Big Ten is such a good conference, and we say this a lot. And this happened to us at Penn State. I thought Kylie McMillan went off, and I think she scored 8 straight against us, and they weren't necessarily easy shots. They were contested for the most part. Yes, we missed a handoff deep, but then so we've got to do what we can do to make shots as contested as possible, and because even when they are contested, teams and players are still able to make them at a very high percentage, not high percentage, but at a high enough percentage that you can't break down very often, and I think that's something that this team is starting to identify. And the good part is, like Amaya said, I think they're able to help coach each other about what it was. We missed an assignment. Did we communicate? Yes, but then we didn't do. Okay, well then fix that, right? You understand what you have to do, but now you actually have to do the next part and do it. So it is fun. I think they're starting to have fun being a good defensive team, but at the same time, and the Big Ten is just so loaded offensively, defensively, size, athleticism, all of it, that, man, you can't let down. And I think this group is starting to figure that out to a higher level.
Sophie had, I think, 3 of the season, 7 blocks. There's so many, I think, intangibles, deflections, going for loose balls that just aren't seen on the stat sheet anyway. Man, how good has she been for you lately?
She's been really, really solid, and she's had some tough assignments. Avery Gordon has been playing at such a high level, and I thought early in the game she did a really nice job of making her do things that are outside of what she normally does. And she scored it. She scored one in the middle of the lane with her left hand, but the first one was a tough catch and a contested shot. So I think she's continuing to make adjustments. She complained about one of the fouls that she got, and I'm like, look, the bottom line is if you just make her score over the top of you, you don't have to worry about it. She goes, yeah, I know. I reached in, I know. So I think one thing that Sophie probably doesn't get enough credit for is how she rotates to help us defensively. She really has very good feet. So for a kid setting a ball screen, or there's a drive down the rail or drive down the baseline, she does a really good job of moving her feet early and helping her teammates. And she's got a presence when she comes over. Now the next part is making the next play, right? So now you can help, but you got to get to the next play as well.
Offensively, it seems like it's starting to get a little bit easier for these gals. I mean, what have you been seeing out of like Amaya and Mara over the last couple weeks that's different from maybe the beginning of the season?
Well, I thought Amaya did a really nice job, and it was the third quarter, and it was right before I think Purdue called a timeout. So there was a fast break opportunity, and she really kind of had an opportunity to pull up, and she didn't take it, and she dumped it down low, and we got a layup opportunity out of it. So I think her awareness and understanding is continuing to grow and develop. And then I thought in the third quarter she had an opportunity where, again, we were trying to play inside out and not give Purdue opportunities to get out in transition. They hurt us early in the game in transition, and so she passed up an early 3, and they were playing off of her early in the possession, and we moved the ball, and it got a little bit stagnant, and they kicked it out to her at the end of the shot clock, and she made it. And that's, I think, her understanding is continuing to improve and develop and grow. I think with Mara's just, I think, getting back into the flow of all of it at this point in time. I think she's played really hard all season long. I think she's played smart. I think she's just kind of getting back into the flow of things.
You mentioned the players having a lot of fun. I mean, they're calling you Donnie P. Like, how much fun are you having this season?
Yeah, they're really a fun group to be around because, again, I want this to be our team's personality, where we can be really tough and get after it, but then we can joke at the same time. I think, and again, not everybody has that belief. My favorite player of all time was Magic Johnson. Why? Because he was a really good player. He could dominate the game in a lot of different ways. He's a point forward. I like to post up, whatever. But that's not really why. He played and he had a smile on his face, and yet he was a high-level competitor. And so that's what we love when that becomes who we are. The dangerous part is you can have a whole lot of fun too and not play very hard. And that's not where we want to be, And so making sure that we are figuring out what that balance looks like is really important.
We have time for one more question if anyone has any more questions.
Donnie P with a Y or IE?
Oh, I think it's a why.
Most important question.
Right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.